Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. A West Alabama police officer is on administrative leave after tasing a handcuffed black man in the back. We'll talk to some officers of the Pickens County NAACP about this disturbing case. A black California police officer says she was punished for stepping in to de-escalate a situation between a white officer and a suspect. We'll tell you about her lawsuit against the Pasadena Police Department. She's hired attorney Ben Crump. Louisiana judge ordered a new election for the Caddo Parish sheriff's race, which was decided by one vote. Black man, he won. Democrat, white Republican lost. We'll talk to Louisiana political strategist about this issue of so-called 11 illegal votes the judge discovered. The chairman and chief executive officer of the National Legal and Policy Center, Peter Flaherty, has called for a visa to revoke the Black Lives Matter endorsement after the group showed, he says, support for Palestine. He's here to explain why. In our marketplace segment, it's a game that could get your black card revoked. We'll talk to the creators of the Trivia for Us card game. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered with Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all.
A black Pasadena, California police officer, a sister, says she was retaliated against after she stepped in to de-escalate a situation between a fellow officer and a suspect. Tased Crutchfield's lawsuit claims she was punished after stepping into a situation on February 20th, when additional officers were called to an argument involving the sons of a black man who was shot and killed by L.A. County Sheriff's Department deputies in Pasadena in January. Now, while the responding officers were interacting with the teenagers, Crutchfield said that one was thrown face first into a cactus, causing the situation to escalate and prompting her to step in and attempt to push the other officer away. Now, folks, watch what happens.
Hold down, pull my jacket down, all the way down. You see? Is this right here? Yeah. Y'all don't even know who we were. That's the thing. No, because this one right here was the aggressive one.
You're getting aggressive, my officer.
Yeah, you know why? No, don't sit here and back the story up now.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm definitely letting them know that. Because you shouldn't be on the streets. Straight up. He shouldn't be on the streets. He shouldn't be on the streets. And I'm definitely letting old boy know. Wait, hey, what am I getting in the car for? I haven't even done shit.
Go over here. You go over there.
I haven't even done shit.
Go back to the station right now.
Wait a minute. What am I getting in the car for?
Crutchfield, go back to the station.
I'm leaving right now. I'm definitely letting old boy know. What's going on? Definitely.
Come on, let's go.
Crutchfield was placed on paid administrative leave for 6 months after being sent back to the department, and said she was never given any reason for her punishment. Now, I want to go back to the video again. And so what you're going to see here, you're going to see her walk up and tell one of the officers, just go ahead, guys, come on, pull the audio up.
Y'all don't even know who we were. That's the thing. No, because this one right here was the aggressive one.
You're getting aggressive, my officer.
Yeah, you know why? No, don't sit here and back the story up now.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm definitely letting them know that. Because you shouldn't be on the streets. Straight up. He shouldn't be on the streets. He shouldn't be on the streets. And I'm definitely letting old boy know. Wait, hey, what am I getting in the car for? I haven't even done shit.
Go over here. You go over there.
I haven't even done shit.
Go back to the station right now.
Wait a minute. What am I getting in the car for?
Crutchfield, go back to the station.
I'm leaving right now. I'm definitely letting old boy know. What's going on? Definitely.
Come on, let's go.
All right, folks, so this here is a story from PasadenaNow.com. Go to my iPad. And so, one, she's also said that she's been denied access to her personnel file. The department says she has been able to access it. Now, here's the deal. As you see, during the incident, Pasadena police detained and handcuffed Carlos Towns, his mother, Barsha Knox, and a minor identified as CT2. Now, an argument took place after Carlos Towns did not return home on time, okay? Now, no one was cited or arrested here. In January, deputies shot and killed Charles Towns after he allegedly stabbed several people with a pair of scissors. Now, during this incident, what you saw there was you saw Crutchfield attempt to move this officer, Ralph Palacios, away from Knox. And then that's when he extended his arm, telling her, don't do that. And all of a sudden, you see this white supervisor step in, telling her she needs to leave and go back to police headquarters. And so go back to my iPad. It says, a lawsuit later claimed a conspiracy is now in the works to fire Crutchfield because of her intervention and her race. The story clearly says the department has never released the official reason why Crutchfield was placed on leave and cannot do so to state law, which prohibits the release of personnel information. Okay. Lawsuit says she spent months on administrative leave. Brad Gage represents Crutchfield. It says, quote, she then had her probation extended. Eventually, Crutchfield was returned to work, but in retaliation for her actions and in violation of the Peace Officers' Bill of Rights, she's been denied her access to her file, an opportunity to respond to any charges in her file, and even the right to see what the rationale was for keeping her on administrative leave for months. As such, the Peace Officers' Bill of Rights was maliciously violated, allowing for civil penalties and attorney's fees, in addition to economic and non-economic damages and litigation costs. I want to go to my panel to talk about this. And folks, remember, we've had these stories before where you've seen officers, female officers, step in now I can't remember the city, but I remember that case where this woman stepped in and this officer literally forcibly pushed her away in sort of the same manner. My panel, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, she's the economist, president emerita of Bennett College, joins us out of D.C. Nicole Porter, senior director of advocacy for the Sentencing Project out of D.C. as well. Dr. Niambe Carter, associate professor, University of Maryland, School of Public Policy out of D.C. Glad to have all three of you here. Niambe, I want to start with you. I mean, this is the thing that's interesting. So here's Crutchfield trying to de-escalate, and this other male officer, I mean, he gets physical with her, and then the supervisor tells her to leave. And she's the one who's trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something we've seen, like you said, over and over. I believe there was a Black policewoman in upstate New York who found herself also put out of the job for trying to intervene in a situation where one of her fellow officers was being too aggressive. And I think you saw the same thing here, because if you watch that whole video, by the time Officer Crutchfield gets there, I mean, the family, the sons are being detained. The mother's trying to intervene and save her boys. Their father has been killed by the police, which they're trying to explain to them over and over for their hostility and their disinterest, right, in talking to the police. And yet you see this officer seem to antagonize them unnecessarily. And I think what Officer Crutchfield was doing, what many of us do, is you put your hand out and say, you know what, you don't need to do this, right? Like, she's telling them, you don't need to go back and forth with this woman, because it's not doing anything but making the situation more tense, and it's escalating something that was a family dispute into something potentially criminal, and everybody walked away. But now Officer Crutchfield is potentially looking at being expelled from the police department for doing what I think many of us would consider to be a good deed for our coworker or colleague, about to potentially get themselves into a world of trouble that is not necessary over something that in the grand scheme of things seem to be fairly low stakes.
You know, what often happens, and we talk about this a lot here, Julianne, the need to have officers bring the temperature down, but too often we see officers ratchet the temperature up.
Well, the officer, the white man who was out of order, he was ratcheting the temperature up. I think Officer Crutchfield, and she's from that community, she knows these people, and she's just saying, just chill for a minute. But we've always rolled on this program, talked about why can't they chill? It's because their egos are sitting there. They're, this guy's going to be, he's all that in a bag of chips. And no, he isn't. He was a little bully and a snake. But that's the mindset of many police officers, is I'm going to fix this by whatever means necessary. Whatever means necessary could be a beating, could be a tasing, could be anything. So Officer Crutchfield actually deserved a commendation for her ability to attempt to de-escalate. And this guy he's the one who needed 6 months of administrative leave. The tragedy is that this is a good police officer out of the community. She's not sure what's in her file. She has a right to know. She has a right to refute. And frankly, from where this goes, I'm glad Ben Crump is involved. Her career as a police officer may be in jeopardy.
You know, Nicole, the thing here is what we desire. We desire to have officers who know how to de-escalate. This right here, This was the case out of Florida. This is the video, guys, go to my iPad, where you see here where this female officer, she's trying to sit here, and you're going to see it in a moment, she's trying to sit here and pull this male officer away. He gets physical with her. He was eventually charged with assault. And I want to play this so people can hear it, because I think it's sort of the same thing. Go ahead.
Get in the car. All right, I'm getting in. Get your feet in.
What's up? Hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You want to play games? You play with the wrong mother.
What you gotta do, man? You gonna mace me, mace me.
Look at me, mother. You want to play games? You ever get disrespectful with my officers, I will remove your soul from your body.
Do it, man. Do what you gotta do.
Don't ever touch me again.
Sir.
Get the off.
Sir. Just let it be.
We clear?
Yes, sir.
And I'll see you in about 5 minutes.
All right, so that was a perfect example. Cop, he's tatted up, he's pumped up above, he jumps out, pushes the other officers out of the way, comes in trying to play John Wayne, and escalates the situation, and then gets into an altercation with the female cop who's pulling her off, like basically saying, man, we don't need you coming here escalating. And this is the thing. These male cops, they come in here hyped up, largely white male cops dealing with black suspects, and they want to blow off the women, whether they're black or white.
I mean, it's the problem with policing. And, you know, one of the main solutions is community policing, have people from the community. That can be helpful. But even then, I mean, in the midst of a conflict, in the midst of an arrest where a police officer may be on level 150 and not have the tools or not be capable of using any tools that they've been taught to de-escalate the situation and emotionally regulate themselves, literally people's lives are at risk. And then you have their colleagues in these two cases that we're looking at here, Officer Crutchfield out in California, this Florida case, where women police officers are attempting to help de-escalate the situation. And these are the solutions that are offered when some of these police interactions result in fatal killings, result in people being violently harmed. And yet, even then, when people are attempting to de-escalate, when other law enforcement officers are attempting to de-escalate, the level of violence in the police interaction is still there, still puts people at risk. And now Officer Crutchfield, her career is compromised. So the entire problem, the entire culture of policing in this country is the problem.
And there is someone that I want to definitely single out. So go back to the other video, and so watch the supervisor. So I'm explaining to you what he should have done. Go.
Get down, all the way down. You see? Is this the supervisor? Yeah.
Y'all don't even know who we were. That's the thing. Y'all didn't ask for it.
No, because this one right here was the aggressive one.
You're getting aggressive, my officer.
Yeah, you know why? No, don't sit here and back the story up now.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm definitely letting him know that. Because you shouldn't be on the streets. Straight up. He shouldn't be on the streets. He shouldn't be on the streets. And I'm definitely letting old boy know.
Hey.
When am I getting the car for? I haven't even done shit.
Go over here. You go over there.
I haven't even done shit.
Go back to the station right now.
Wait a minute. When am I getting in the car for?
Crutchfield, go back to the station.
I'm waiting. I'm definitely letting old boy know.
So here's what I want to know. So the supervisor comes over. He tells police, so you stand over there, Crutchfield, you go over here. Then he says, go back to the station. Okay, well, what's his assessment of what took place here, Niambi? Again, you would think when a supervisor comes on the scene, their job is to de-escalate.
Well, I mean, you would think that, but it seems like in this particular case, the bigger issue wasn't so much that she was de-escalating, but that she had the nerve to sort of reprimand a man, a white man in particular, in front of other people, other officers, and of course this family that they were accosting, for lack of a better word. And I think, here when you talk about a supervisor and what their role is, we assume that people who have these supervisory positions are more responsible, but people fail upward all the time. You know this, Roland. We all know this in our various professions. And I think here you have a supervisor who was pretty ineffectual, because if this was a good supervisor, he would have stepped in and said, do not continue to go back and forth with this woman. Let the other officers move her out of the place or out of the way so that we can have a conversation and sort this out. Your sort of antagonism is not needed. That should have been his position. It shouldn't have took a fellow officer to walk into something that was clearly getting heated unnecessarily, to try and bring this to a close or to some sort of resolution. This supervisor was just sitting there, treating this like it wasn't actually a life and death matter. I mean, when you start talking about putting people in handcuffs and putting them in cars and doing all of this kind of stuff, some of them had been thrown into a cactus allegedly, and then expect it to all be good. So the supervisor wasn't interested in doing his job other than protecting, it seems like, the ego of the officer who was being called out by Officer Crutchfield.
Well, when we come back, we're going to show you what happened in Alabama, where a white female officer is now on leave for being the aggressor and stunning a black man with a taser. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Grow your business or career with Grow with Google's wide range of online courses, digital training, and tools. Gain in-demand job skills with flexible online training programs designed to put you on the fast track to jobs in high-growth fields. No experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace. Complete the online certificate program on your own terms. Stand out to employers, get on a path to in-demand jobs, and connect with top employers who are currently hiring. Take one professional career certificate program or all 6. Earn a Google Career Certificate to prepare for a job in a high-growth field like data analytics, project management, UX design, cybersecurity, and more. All professional career certificate programs must be completed by December 31st, 2024. Scan the QR code to complete the application. There are 1,000 scholarships available. Grow with Google and J. Hood and Associates. Be job ready and qualify for in-demand jobs.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
A West Alabama police officer is on administrative leave and under investigation after tasing a handcuffed black man. The reformed police officer, identified as Dana Elmore, was caught on video cursing and tasing Micah Washington in the back. The incident happened in Pickens County, about 40 miles west of Tuscaloosa, on December 2nd. There are reports that Washington was changing a flat tire when Elmore approached him. Others say the incident began with a traffic stop. Folks, watch this.
Stand up. Right there in front of the car. Stay still.
I ain't doing shit, bro. I got gun right there. I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying, what you saying? Oh, yeah, fuck. I'm not. Oh, my God.
Fuck up.
Okay. I'm down. Oh, my fuck. Oh, my God.
You want it again?
No, man.
Shut the fuck up. You was big and bad. Shut your bitch ass up.
Gentleman from the Pickens County, Alabama NAACP chapter is President William Petty and the first vice chair Faye Jones. I'm trying to also, folks, understand, reach out to the mayor but got no response. However, Reform Alabama Police Chief Richard Black and Mayor Melody Davis provided this joint statement a couple of days ago. The Reform Police Department is aware of a video circulating involving a citizen's arrest on December 2nd. The department is in the process of turning over all materials related to this arrest to the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation and has requested a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the arrest in accordance with city policy. The officer involved has been placed on administrative leave while the investigation is conducted. Any questions regarding the investigation should be directed to the State Bureau of Investigation. All right, so that's their statement there. So let me ask you here, William, as well as Faith. So as I watched the video, the man says he has a gun. She goes, oh, there we go. She puts it on the car and then begins to tase him. He was under control. He wasn't resisting arrest. There really was no need to tase this man.
That's correct. From our observation, there was no need. He was subdued in handcuffs.
Have y'all had any conversations with the mayor or the police department regarding this?
Yes, sir. I've met with the mayor, the magistrate, and the chief of police, and they gave me the data they say they had. And they also shared that she was placed on administrative leave, Miss Dana.
This is, I mean, again, so the officers on leave. Are you aware of any other issues with police in the town?
There have been earlier incidents. Are you talking about with this officer?
No, not necessarily with this officer, but other issues in the police department.
Yes, sir.
Football player.
We had incident with Mr. Brody that started in reform, and also the incident with the professional football player.
Both of them are dead now.
And they expired after their arrest.
So you've had obviously issues there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, look, we're going to be certainly watching this story, see what happens with this Alabama Bureau of Investigation. So certainly keep us abreast of what's next.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a bunch. Nicole, I'll start with you. Again, here's a perfect example. Man's under arrest, handcuffed, leaning over a car, not resisting. The officer can't resist herself of tasing him.
You know, I don't think people always understand how traumatizing an arrest can be. I mean, that man may live for the rest of his life with the trauma of the violence he experienced at the hands of that officer, and it's absolutely unacceptable the way she violently used that taser, the way she spoke to him, dehumanizing him when he was crying. And, you know, we don't know what led up to that, but if he was simply trying to deal with his car and she viewing a black man wanting to control him, I mean, this is the history of policing throughout this country, particularly in the South, particularly in states like Alabama, with too high rates of arrest, too high rates of incarceration. It's absolutely outrageous and just so heartbreaking to see his response in the midst of that arrest when he was being violently assaulted by this police officer. Absolutely unacceptable.
What you have here, Julian, look, you got officers, a lot of them who just believe they can, do whatever they want, and when they pull it out, but they even have to have responsibility using a taser.
I can't imagine what it feels like to be tased, but you heard that man's cries of anguish. as he was tased. That woman doesn't need to be on administrative leave. She needs to be off the police force. But this, Roland, is, what I've been writing about and talking about is the lynching culture. We don't lynch people anymore, but the lynching culture suggests that you could do anything you want to a Black person, and there will be no consequences. That's basically passed down from enslavement to actual lynching to a knee on the neck, and we go on. There was no need, as Nicole has said, there was no need whatsoever. This man was fairly docile. She said, bend over on the car. He bent over on the car. He told her he had a gun. He was completely compliant. And all that was about was her ego. And one of the things that I, have to say when we see some of this is that, we think that diversifying police forces is going to make a big difference. But white women are the mothers, daughters, sisters, and wives of the white men who think they can do whatever they want to Black people. And that woman's horrible behavior. I mean, she was hostile. She was aggressive. She used profanity. She does not belong in the police force. But more than that, those folks who say they're feminists, and I'm one, need to look askance at some of these white women who basically take on the roles and attitudes of the white men who oppress us.
But Niambi, you also have Black cops who operate the same way. We know, of course, with Tyree Nichols in Memphis, and this is what happens when it comes to the blue. They got their badge and a gun, and again, we expect officers to also act in accordance with department policy.
Well, unfortunately, though, department policy seems to be violence against Black people. And I think this is what my colleagues are talking about. It's not necessarily a race question, although we've seen some examples of good officers, good Black officers like Officer Crutchfield. But when people feel that they can do things with impunity, the disrespect and disregard of Black humanity, it becomes a lot easier to beat people, to abuse people, to verbally abuse people, to tase people. And so, on the one hand, people might say, oh, this is non-lethal. And this officer, quite frankly, looked like she derived a good deal of pleasure from inflicting pain on this man who was doing nothing other than complying with every request that she had, including telling her about a weapon and all of these things. I mean, there is nothing that we can do. There's no policy that would fix that. But what we can do is make sure we do not just a better job of screening officers and potential officers, but also rooting those people out where they exist. And this is the officer that needs to be the kind of example of what you don't do. This is the kind of officer that deserves to be put on administrative leave. This is the kind of officer that needs to be relieved of their duties, because God knows what would have happened if there was even the slightest hint of resistance from this man or any other citizen she comes into contact with. And I think that's the larger sort of issue here, is that we are not treated like citizens. We are not given the benefit of the doubt. There is no sense that you need to respect Black people or Black life. And I think that's the part that makes these kinds of really innocuous kinds of interactions scary. Because whether we're talking about California, we're talking about Alabama, you have people here who are more than willing to violate us, our humanity, and our rights, all in the name of this badge. And there doesn't seem to be a lot that is going to be done to remove these officers from employment, because we see time and again that when officers are even disciplined, they often go to other jurisdictions. So it's not a deterrent. And that is something that is really wrong with the culture. All right, then. Hold tight 1 second. We come back. We'll talk about a conservative group wants Visa to end the association with Black Lives Matter. Why? Because they say they support Palestinians. We'll talk with the leader of that group next on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Be sure to support us in what we do. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
What's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. A now deleted post by Black Lives Matter Chicago caught the attention of many, including the National Legal and Policy Center. Peter Flaherty is the chair. He sent a letter to Visa demanding it revoke its BLM endorsement. Now, this is the post of a hang glider with a Palestinian flag, caption, "I stand with Palestine." Hang gliders were used in the attack against Israel. BLM later apologized and removed that, but Peter Flaherty still wants Visa to revoke their endorsement. He joins us now from Falls Church, Virginia. Peter, glad to have you here. So I'm curious, this is not just related to the BLM Chicago Post. You have criticized other corporations for their support of Black Lives Matter. Why?
Well, that's correct. And of course, the paraglider post was taken down, but that was after 30 million people saw it. Roland, this isn't just something we cooked up in the wake of October 7th. We have a long history of being critical of Black Lives Matter. We exposed the fact that Patrice Cullors owned 4 pieces of real estate and was enriching her family with all these inside deals. And of course, she had to resign from the movement. When it comes to Visa, Inc., we were at the annual meeting earlier this year. We had a number of items we raised, and one of them was Visa's endorsement of Black Lives Matter. So we've been critical of this before, during, and after October 7th.
The question, why? You talked about, first of all, Patricia Cullors. You talked about what she was involved with. First of all, she also publicly talked about money that she as an individual has earned as opposed to the entity. There was an audit that was actually done after she actually left. And so when you say that she was commingling, things along those lines, they actually talked about that. But again, why specifically do you have a problem with Black Lives Matter, the movement?
Well, just before we leave Patrice Cullors, we filed a complaint with the IRS against the organization, and we did not allege that Ms. Cullors misappropriated funds. We alleged that there were inside deals, like paying her brother over $100,000 for security services, which violated IRS regulations regarding inside dealing. But to cut to the chase on BLM, we believe that big companies like Visa and Coca-Cola should not get involved in controversial public policy issues because they have customers and shareholders and employees on both sides. And when you look at Black Lives Matter, their number one public policy priority was defunding the police, and everybody's run away from that, and big companies have run away from that. It seems like, they tried it and it didn't work in a lot of places. But Visa hangs in there. This endorsement of BLM stays on their website, and we've asked the chairman of Visa, Al Kelly, who wrote it, to take it down.
I'm curious. You said that you disagree with companies like Coca-Cola and others, Visa, supporting Black Lives Matter because of public policy positions. Can you show me where you, as an organization, opposed corporations involving ALEC?
ALEC?
Yes.
We've been critical of companies dumping money into either side of these controversial issues.
Have you called for corporations that are members of ALEC to resign from ALEC?
No, but we've been critical of corporations that fund ALEC for sure on a variety of issues.
What companies?
Well, Big Pharma. Big Pharma sponsored ALEC's big dinner.
Who else?
What?
Who else?
Well, Bud Light was there too.
Who else?
Well, I've just named two, Roland.
Right. Have you been critical of Koch Industries for their involvement in ALEC?
No, but
why? Why? They've been a funder of ALEC. See, if you're going to be critical of these companies, because you said yourself, because of public policy, well, is ALEC not directly involved in public policy across the country?
Well, you asked me to name some, and I named two.
Right. You named two, but you did not name the conservative Koch Industries that funds ALEC.
Well, when it comes to the Koch brothers, it's kind of ironic, Roland, because we've been accused for years and years of being funded by Koch. We've never taken a penny from them.
First of all, I haven't accused you of that. But again, here's the point I'm making. You have publicly released a letter. You talked about the head of Visa for them to pull back. But you said you've been critical. You said Big Pharma, have you released any letters to Big Pharma, Pfizer, any of those companies demanding that they resign from ALEC?
No, not specifically.
But you specifically done it for Black Lives Matter and Visa, but you won't do it for these companies with ALEC. But you say you were critical that these companies shouldn't be involved in public policy, but they're involved in public policy with ALEC. Isn't that the same?
Well, I'll say it again. We believe that big companies should stay out of these issues, and the more controversial, the more reason to stay out.
But Peter, I'm very clear though. I received an email from you regarding Visa and Black Lives Matter, and it details what you've done. The demands that you are making of Visa regarding Black Lives Matter are not the same demands that you have made of corporations involved in ALEC, and I wonder why.
Well, I don't think there's a moral equivalency between Black Lives Matter and ALEC. ALEC's kind of boring, really.
No, they're not. No, they're not. ALEC has been responsible for the stand your ground laws across the country. ALEC has been involved with significant public policy all across the country, largely conservative. What you just said is simply not true.
Roland, I'm not responsible for every public policy debate. That's exactly our point, that these things are so far-flung and so controversial that companies should stay out of them.
But the point that I'm making to you is, why are you targeting Visa specifically with Black Lives Matter, but you're not giving the same energy to companies that fund ALEC? And actually, ALEC has been far more detrimental and involved in public policy than Black Lives Matter.
You can criticize ALEC all you want, but you can't call them racist. You can't call them terrorists. You can't call them a bunch of extremists. It's a bunch of Republican state legislatures who get around from around the country, who get together and have dinner.
No, they don't. No, Peter, there are examples of ALEC written language. Peter, 1 second. There are examples of ALEC written language copy and pasted into laws that were actually put into motion by Republican legislators. They're not just having dinners.
Well,
go ahead.
They propose model legislation, and in some places it gets passed. Look, when it comes to Black Lives Matter in Visa, which I thought that's what the interview was about, if we can't agree on Black Lives Matter, maybe we can agree that hypocrisy is bad. The chairman of Visa is named Al Kelly. He holds himself out as a big Catholic. He chaired the committee that welcomed the Pope to New York City. He's on the board of several Catholic charities. But in this statement that he put out endorsing Black Lives Matter, he also referred to Latin people as Latinx. Of course, that's a woke term that Hispanics themselves don't use. And the reason you get the X at the end, it's a way to degenderize the Spanish language.
No, that'd be correct. First of all, let me correct you. Let me correct you. That phrase, that term was created because typically we refer to as Latino, and then of course women are referred to as Latina, and so that phrase was used to represent men and women. Now, you are correct. One second, Peter. You are correct. Peter, hold on. You are correct, because I've had Latino pollsters on talking about in terms of who doesn't use that, and a significant number of Latino/Hispanics do not use it, but that's actually where it came from. So, but go right ahead.
Okay, and actually the term Hispanic was invented by Richard Nixon.
I'm not talking about Hispanic. I'm talking about Latinx.
Hispanics, they thought of themselves as Ecuadorians and Mexicans and whatever.
First of all, I'm a native of Texas, so I'm quite familiar with how, and that's why I say Latino/Hispanic, because depending on where you are in the country, there are different usages. There are people who are Venezuelan and Cuban in South Florida who don't say the same, who don't identify with Hispanic as those who come from Mexico in Texas. You got Chicanos who are in Chicago. You got folks who are Dominican and Puerto Rican who are in New York, and they may differ than the language used for folks in California. And so that's one of the reasons why I said Latino/Hispanic. But I want to go back to it because you talked about the CEO being Catholic. What does that have to do with anything? We've got conservative Catholics on the Supreme Court. And?
Well, I think it underscores his hypocrisy. He should decide which side he's on.
How so?
If he's going to be a Catholic and hold himself out as a big Catholic and wear it on his sleeve, he should at least reinforce the teachings of the Catholic Church. In
Really?
the state,
Really?
in this, in endorsing Black Lives Matter, he talks about Latinx, which is directly contrary to the teachings of the Church.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting that you actually said that. But one second. That's interesting that you actually said that, because go to my iPad. Pope Francis expressed support for George Floyd protests. That's the biggest Catholic you can find. Second of all, when you talked about the teaching of the Catholic Church, I also recall the Catholic Church historically is ardently anti-abortion, but they're also against the death penalty, and it's a whole bunch of people who agree with them on abortion, but they don't stand with them when it comes to the death penalty. So how can you try to demand a hard and fast rule for Catholics when even they disagree on that issue?
Well, Al Kelly shouldn't hold himself out as this big Catholic then.
Why not? Why not? Why does his religion have anything to do with it when he has
Catholic something?
No. But wait a minute. But you don't get. First of all, what's your faith? What's your faith? What's your faith?
I'm a Roman Catholic.
You're a Roman Catholic.
Yes, sir.
Are you against the death penalty?
I am not.
Oh, you're not. So guess what? No. Guess what? You're not a Catholic then.
No, but I don't go on Eternal Word TV. And
No, Peter, are you are you a strong Catholic or a weak Catholic?
I consider myself a strong Catholic.
So if you're a strong Catholic, why are you not strongly against the death penalty when the Catholic Church is strongly against the death penalty? And Peter, just so you know, I was born and raised Catholic. The Catholic Church that I grew up in was founded in my grandparents' living room. And so I'm multi-generational Catholic. So why are you, if you want to hold the chairman of Visa to a Catholic standard, why do you not hold yourself to the same one?
Look, because he's out there claiming that he's this big Catholic.
So are you?
I do not. I only say that.
So you're not a big Catholic. You're a small Catholic.
Question about the death penalty. There are certain things as a mere human I don't understand that I can't reconcile. That's why I submit them to prayer.
But Peter, does the Pope lead the Catholic Church?
Yes.
Are you supposed to follow the directives of the Catholic Church, Catholic leadership?
Yes.
So if the Catholic Church from the Vatican on down is anti-death penalty, well, aren't you being in violation of your Catholicism by not being anti-death penalty?
Well, I just said I was, and you know, we're not here to
so
talk
why
about.
So why are you mad with the chairman of Visa because he might disagree with you when you disagree with the Pope?
Because I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a public Catholic. I don't hold myself out as a Catholic spokesman.
Do you lead a public organization?
I'm sorry?
Do you lead a public organization?
Yes, we have.
Do you lead a nonprofit?
I'm sorry?
Are you a nonprofit?
Yes.
Is your organization involved in numerous lawsuits?
Yes.
Is your organization, do you make public statements?
Yes.
You are a public Catholic.
Am I on trial?
No. I'm actually showing you your own hypocrisy because you're criticizing Visa chairman for something that you do, and you're mad at him when you yourself are not the ardent, strong Catholic that you want him to be.
Okay, well, look, I at least come on your show and admit to this hypocrisy. Kelly has not. Look, it gets much worse.
No, it's okay. I'll be happy to invite the chairman of Visa on the show, but go ahead. Go ahead, make your point. Go ahead.
To drag his sorry ass onto your show.
I would love to have him on the show, and we could talk about Visa's advertising with black-owned media, but go ahead.
And he's now only chairman of Visa, but he used to be CEO and chairman.
Okay.
And while he was CEO, Visa was handling the credit card transactions for some of the biggest porn sites in the world, including kiddie porn sites.
But what does that have? Well, first of all, I'll be honest with you, Peter. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there because it's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch of cable companies that made lots of money with porn in hotel rooms. So let's just be honest. It's a lot of Americans, conservative and liberal, make money with porn.
Well, I was leading up to a point, and the point was evidence submitted to the court showed that Al Kelly was aware of this.
What does that have to do with Black Lives Matter?
We could have a philosophical argument about the death penalty.
But what does that have to do with Black Lives Matter? You want them to pull support of Black Lives Matter.
Face of them, like knowingly profiting from porn, that I think a public Catholic like Al Kelly has an added burden to face the accusations that I'm making now of hypocrisy. Why didn't you get him on the show?
I'm utterly confused how you are talking about the chairman of Visa and Catholicism and porn, and your problem is Black Lives Matter, and you still have not actually answered my question. What is your no, Peter? I'm gonna let you. What is your Peter? What is your fundamental problem with Black Lives Matter in 2023?
You got to be careful because there's more than one Black Lives Matter.
Oh, no. First of all, I'm fully aware because I've had all of them on the show. I understand the difference between Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Black Lives Matter Network. I understand that because I've actually interviewed all of them.
Yes, of course. And the Black Lives Matter Grassroots people have taken great interest in what we have done in exposing the corruption within the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. But let's look at Black Lives Matter, what happened in the wake of October 7th. You had the Chicago paragliding post that you've already put up there. The national BLM grassroots organization put out a statement of solidarity with Palestine. Are you saying they can't do that? No, but I can be critical of it.
Okay, no. I'm just saying that them putting that statement out, is that illegal?
No, it's certainly ill-advised. And let me
ask you a question. Let me ask Peter. Peter, I'm asking Peter, simple question. Peter, simple question. If Black Lives Matter Grassroots had put out a statement in support of Israel, would you have a problem with that?
No.
So the real issue is not that they put a statement out. The problem is you don't like them standing with Palestinians, but you would have no problem with them if they were supporting Israel. Okay, go ahead with your statement. Go ahead.
Correct. And Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation did not put out anything on what happened on
because they're two separate groups. They're two separate groups.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to lay that out, to be fair, okay?
No. My audience already knows because I've already laid it out. I've laid it out for the last 2 years, but go ahead.
You know these people. Most people in the conservative movement don't know these people.
Well, first of all, most conservative people don't know a lot of black people, so it's no surprise they don't know anything about Black Lives Matter.
Roland, you're looking at me like I'm some kind of white guy.
No, I'm not.
Right?
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying, Peter, is here's what I'm saying. You're targeting Peter. You're targeting Visa, but I still need to know. Okay, they released a statement. Peter.
So much to defend myself.
Peter. It's all good. They released a statement supporting Palestinians. What else?
That's enough, isn't it?
No, wait a minute. That's it. Hold up. That's it.
But what happened on October 7th?
Hold up. That's it. That's it.
You think that reaction was a little unusual or condemnable?
I'm sorry. So you're telling me that you're making this big brouhaha because Black Lives Matter grassroots released a statement saying they were standing with Palestinians, and you think that's why Visa should not be involved with them whatsoever. That's it?
Correct. It's enough.
No, it's not. That's pretty weak, Peter. I mean, it's pretty weak.
Well, I'll tell you what's weak. I think your personal attacks on me are pretty weak. And
no, Peter, wait a minute, Peter. You attack Peter.
He had 8 kids, right? But he also had hundreds of black kids. My dad was a basketball coach at public schools, at inner city schools in Massachusetts for 30 years. The Catholic schools grabbed all the good players. He was left with the rest. They were runners-up in the state twice. And when you're a basketball coach's son, what you do on Saturday morning? You go to basketball practice with your dad. And my dad was a goddamn saint. And
Peter, now you're mad at the Catholic schools took the best players?
A lot of these guys did not have fathers. My dad kept them in school. My dad was responsible for kids going to college who otherwise wouldn't.
Peter, that has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
No, it does, because you're looking at me like I'm a white guy.
No, I'm not. No, actually, Peter. No, Peter. No, I'm not.
What do you mean?
Peter, Woosah. Peter, Woosah. You said, Peter, you just said about 60 seconds ago, you said that I was lodging personal attacks against you. Peter. No, actually, I didn't.
I didn't react. Peter, I tried to answer your question.
Peter, you literally personally attacked the faith of the Visa chairman because you disagree with him. And then when I show your own hypocrisy on the death penalty.
I did not attack his faith.
You did! Peter, you literally attacked a man saying you basically said he's not a real Catholic.
No, I didn't say that. I said he was exhibiting hypocrisy for the public stands, which differ from his public allegiance to the church.
And so do you.
No, I don't.
Peter, if you Peter Flaherty, get to oppose the Catholic Church over the issue of the death penalty, why can't he have a different opinion just like you?
Why can't we talk about Black Lives Matter?
You the one brought up the man being a Catholic, not me. You brought him up. I didn't even know he was a Catholic.
I brought up the fact that he's a hypocrite in the context of his support for Black Lives Matter. Period.
Well, here's what I'll say here, Peter. Here's what I'll say here, Peter.
Should I come on this show again, Roland? I've tried to answer your questions. I've tried to be reasonable. You kept interrupting me.
No, Peter. Peter, what I did was
but I'm not sure I should come back.
No, Peter.
What do you think?
Peter, I don't have a problem with you coming back. Here's the whole deal. Here's what I would suggest. I'm just going to give you some professional television advice. Don't bring up the man's Catholicism that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, because what you then did was you then diverted the conversation to something else as opposed to the subject at hand. I didn't bring it up. You did. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Peter.
He's on the Pope's Commission on Inclusive Capitalism.
And guess what?
He's on the Pope of New York City. He's on the board of Boston College. He sits on the board of other Catholic nonprofits. I do none of those things. I admire him for that, but he should not, when he puts out a statement right after George Floyd gets beaten to death and goes with the herd are
you saying that Visa was wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that Visa was wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
You bet. That's the whole point of me being here.
Oh, Peter, was the Pope wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
The Pope did the right thing and condemned
yes or no?
the death of...
No, yes or no?
the Pope didn't endorse Black Lives Matter. And the Pope didn't tell big business to send their money to Patrisse Cullors, who promptly bought 2 mansions with it.
Well, what the Pope did do, was support the protests against racial injustice in his own book, and the racial injustice protests were led by Black Lives Matter. That's Pope Francis.
Well, not everybody who protested what happened endorsed Black Lives Matter. And
No. Let me show, Pete, I'm just going to show you right here. We're going to pull it up. Pope book backs George Floyd protests, blast virus skeptics. That's the Pope. So I'm confused. So you mad at the visa dude, but you're not mad at the Pope?
Look, the Pope did not endorse Black Lives Matter. The people who protested Floyd's death is a much broader people than those that support Black Lives Matter. And the people that actually support Black Lives Matter now are a tiny group. The group's been discredited. The public opinion polls that ask about the group's favorability have been going down for the last 2 years. And we like to think we were part of that by exposing the corruption. And it's got to be lower than ever now after the paraglider poster and whatever else.
Well, I'll tell you. Matter of fact, I just want to show you this right here. Now, see, here's what's interesting. You said the Pope did not support Black Lives Matter. Interesting. This is from a story right here. Pope Francis called George Floyd by name twice and offered support to an American bishop who knelt in prayer during a Black Lives Matter protest. Cardinals, black and white, have spoken out about Floyd's death, and the Vatican's communications juggernaut has shifted into overdrive to draw attention to the cause that he now represents. Sounded to me like the Pope was standing in solidarity with Black Lives Matter.
Well, are you implying that the Pope supported the paragliding posting?
No, Peter. What I'm saying, Peter.
What are you saying?
Peter, what I'm saying is, sounds like Pope Francis was standing in solidarity in the wake of the George Floyd death with Black Lives Matter protesters, which are being all across the country, that you have a problem with. And so it sounds like the chairman of Visa, when he released that statement, he was in line with the Pope. So it sounded to me like he was a pretty doggone good Catholic.
Well, I think that the Pope has always stood against injustice. He stood about...
Praise the Lord.
He's condemned what happened on October 7th, and I think you're making a mistake, Roland, associating everything that Black Lives Matter does with having the support of the Pope.
Well, but I think you are making a mistake by trying to discredit all of Black Lives Matter movement, because there are people across this country who are good people, who are church-going people, who are Christians, who are Catholics, who are Baptists, who are Methodists, who are out there fighting racial injustice. My first 2 stories were about police officers and the wrongdoing. And here's what I'm going to say, Peter. You might be upset. In that BLM chapter in Chicago, I thought that post was stupid. I said so as well. But that chapter also is not a part of the actual movement. And there's some people who do some stupid stuff, including some conservative organizations. And all I'm going to say, Peter, is very simple. And that is, if you're targeting Visa, but I hope you have the same energy for corporations who are in ALEC, who are passing laws. So I would love to see you target their chairman.
Well, I don't know about targeting them, but we've certainly been critical. I think
but you're targeting Visa.
What?
You're targeting Visa?
Look, we're a small outfit. We don't get involved in everything.
Well, guess what? I looked at your website, and y'all been involved in a lot of stuff, Peter. A lot of stuff y'all been involved in, dealing with Hillary Clinton and Hunter Biden, and so it's not like y'all not involved in a lot of stuff. I'm just saying.
We're pretty busy, but I will say that as I said a few minutes ago, there are folks within the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth who have been in touch with us, who have taken great interest in our expose of what happens with the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. So, we'll talk to anybody, and we often do.
Well, Peter, I would love I'll love this here. I would love it. And guess what? If you, Peter Flaherty, decides to be highly critical and target the companies that are standing behind ALEC, you're more than welcome to come back on, because we've been critical of ALEC as well.
Well, I don't know. Roland, have I been a good sport or not?
No, you've been great. You've been great.
I've never had an interview like this, to tell you the truth.
Well, here's why, Peter. Peter, here's why. Because what I do, I actually do my research, and I'm willing to ask the questions. And maybe some of the other places you've gone, they used to do softballs. I played baseball growing up. I didn't play softball. I played hardball.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, Peter, take care. Appreciate you coming on.
Okay.
All right, folks, got to go pay some bills. I'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Faraji Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
My name is Lena Charles, and I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. Yes, that is Zydeco capital of the world.
My name is Margaret Chappelle. I'm from Dallas, Texas, representing the Urban Trivia Game.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you watch.
Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
That song is called Sunday by my frat brother Lucid. It's #1 UCID. Check him out on Apple Music. All right, I got to go to my panel. I know I got the Louisiana story. I'm coming to that, but I got to go to the panel to Niambi, Nicole, and Julian. And why do people try me, Julian?
Because they set themselves up for a butt kicking. That's all. That man was so. Oh, God, don't even get me started. I'm sitting here cracking up. I mean, sometime the producer should show our faces while we're listening to these fools. Because, well, or not. But he's speciously going after Black Lives Matter. Then he's going after the Chera visa. And he's got all kinds of slurs about Catholicism. I, too, grew up Catholic. I'm a spiritual sampler. You probably find me anywhere. Well, now you will find me in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. But, you know, to attack someone's Catholicism, he just was all over the place. I went on their website, and they are all over the place. They're very conservative. We wouldn't necessarily call them racist, but they are very conservative. And they going after Black Lives Matter. Why not go after the Boogaloo Boys? You know, why not go there? There's a whole. If you really are talking about justice, there's a whole lot. Why not go after the Orange Man? This guy, he's unhinged, and he clearly was. What I have to give him props to this. He kept a smile on his face.
Right. I mean, Nicole, I was smiling too. But here's the deal, and listen. I have been in media since I was 14 years old. Okay, I'm good at this shit. Okay, here's the first rule. The first rule. This is no different than when you're on a stand in the courtroom, okay? You don't introduce another argument that then allows somebody like me to latch on to that argument and then twist that knife into you because he was the one who brought up the man being Catholic. Then he called him a hypocrite. So I knew, I don't know Peter, I ain't never met Peter, but I knew Peter likely didn't support, wasn't against the death penalty. And so the moment he called that man a hypocrite, I knew I had his ass. And then, boom, it was on like Donkey Kong. And to everybody watching, never make that mistake with a professional debater, because we gonna sit here and go from here to over here and gonna wear your ass out on that point.
Right, you had him in a trap and he got caught. And yeah, I mean, he wasn't ready for this. He wasn't ready for you. And it just shows how he is all over the place. But it's easy to attack Black Lives Matter. And folks like him, I don't know, I think it is kind of racist to intentionally choose Black Lives Matter as a point to make a name for yourself and to get in the news and to be invited on shows. Easy targets, problematic. And white folks, white men have been doing that since the beginning of this country.
See, and again, Niambi, this was this, oh my God. I need everybody to understand, okay? I need everybody to understand, ain't my first rodeo. I actually listen to what people say. And the moment that man, Peter, nice guy, Peter, you can come back. I mean, you can come back, Peter. But I'm just trying to help you out, Peter, as a professional. When the man criticized Visa and companies for taking public policy positions, boom, I hit him with Alec. And we've been critical. You spoken, but have you targeted? Boom, right there. I knew I had him. And again, you don't bring up stuff that you don't do for everybody else.
Well, I mean, I think the point of it, right at the end of it all, is that underneath whatever this critique is, it's not about being ideologically consistent. It's not about being intellectually genuine. It's about a dislike for Black Lives Matter and other things. And even when he used the language of a woke term like Latinx, which is trying to be inclusive, and sure, there might be issues with the term, but even that characterization, I think, tilted his hand. And it isn't so much about the argument he was making or not making. It's sort of what doesn't get said. And what's not being said is I'm going after, or we're going after, Black Lives Matter or Visa because we don't like Black Lives Matter. Even calling out Patricia Cullors by name as if Patricia Cullors is the entirety of Black Lives Matter and trying to raise all of these objections when it's really not about Black Lives Matter. It's not about Visa. It's about the fact that you don't like what that organization stands for. So this particular meme or GIF or whatever they shared might have been the provocation. And I think there's lots to see that was wrong with that. However, this was a long-standing, long-simmering dislike of Black Lives Matter and their corporate partners. And to your point, it's not about keeping corporations out of politics, because if that was the case, you would do this across the board. So it wouldn't.
You'd be against Citizens United.
Exactly. This would not just be Visa. This would be Coca-Cola. This would be lots of organizations that you would be arguing need to divest from politics.
And if Peter believes in that, he would be against corporations giving donations to conservative and Democrat politicians.
Absolutely.
And in fact, there's a prominent billionaire who spends millions on Republican politics who's a donor to Peter's organization. All I'm saying, y'all, I gotta go to a break. All I'm saying is, listen, if you're gonna come on here, just one more, Peter. And Peter, you're a nice guy. I really do appreciate you coming on, because a lot of conservatives are scared to death because they don't want to stay in the heat. But man, don't bring up your dad ain't no black ball players. Don't do that. Don't do that. That ain't no get out of the hood free card, okay? That ain't gonna cause me to go all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna hold you accountable. Nah, that don't work, Peter. All y'all folk who keep opposing Black Lives Matter, it's interesting. Y'all mad at Black Lives Matter, but y'all ain't mad at what Black Lives Matter is fighting against. That's the problem. Folks, that was a perfect example why y'all should be supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. We're about $230,000 behind our goal. We just got about 24 days left in December. Again, our goal is to annually raise $1 million from our fan base. Y'all have been fantastic since we launched this show 5 years ago. But we need your support. It is critical for us to do the work that we do. Not just, but look, we're in the studio. We got staff in the control room. I mean, everything that we do costs money. The cameras, the live streaming equipment, the staff that keeps us live on YouTube and on the Black Star Network app and on our other channels. And so please send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal are Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And of course, download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV, and be sure to watch our 24-hour streaming channel on Amazon News by going to Amazon Fire. You can also tell Alexa play news from the Black Star Network. Watch us on Plex TV. Check us out on Amazon Freevee, and if you go to the live TV grid of Amazon Prime Video, you'll see us right there along with the other news channels. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. There's a lot of talk about the inevitability of another civil war in this country. But on our next show, we'll talk to a noted author and scholar who says we're actually in the middle of one right now. In fact, Steve Phillips says the first one that started back in 1861, well, it never ended.
People carrying the Confederate flag, wearing sweatshirts saying MAGA Civil War, January 6, 2021, stormed the U.S. Capitol, hunted down the country's elected officials, built a gallows for the Vice President of the United States, and to block the peaceful transfer of power within this country.
On the next Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Kim Coles.
Hey, I'm Donnie Simpson.
Yo, it's your man Dion Cole from Blackish, and you watch
Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Well, this white Republican candidate in Louisiana, he ain't happy. He lost by one vote to the black Democrat. A Louisiana judge has ordered a new sheriff's election after this that was decided by a single vote. Ad hoc Judge Joe Bletch found at least 11 illegal votes cast and counted in the Caddo Parish sheriff's race. The votes Judge Belch deemed illegal were, first of all, votes that two who voted twice, 5 cast by absentee mail-in ballots that should not have been counted, and 4 invalid votes by felons who were unqualified to vote. John Nicholson sued Henry Whitehorn and elections officials last week. The earliest a new runoff election can be held is March 23rd. Joining me now from Shreveport, Louisiana, is political strategist and community organizer Derek Henderson. Derek, glad to have you here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me.
There are, what, First of all, I don't know why you're wearing a little Kappa jacket, though. But anyway, let me.
Well, you know what? I want to say, first of all, thank you for having me, and happy Founders Day to all the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha. We know that they had to have a prototype before they perfected the model, so I'm not mad at y'all. I want you guys to enjoy your day and to know that J5 is on the way, and that's when we'll show you all how to do it.
Well, keep in mind, without Alpha, y'all just Kappa Psi. You need our name in your name. All right. So that's right. See, you ain't got no comeback for that one. All right, here we go. Okay, here's what I'm trying to understand here. Okay, judge makes this decision going through. Now, there are, if I'm correct, 63 sheriffs in Louisiana. He will be the only black sheriff in the whole state, right?
That is correct.
So, what do you make of all of a sudden this judge, making this decision?
So first of all, we have to understand that Henry Whitehorn is probably the most qualified, well, not even probably, the most qualified person in the history, the 185-year history of Caddo Parish, Louisiana, to seek the office of sheriff. He's served as the head of the local, state, and federal police, Homeland Security. He has the acumen, certainly, but also the experience and the temperament to govern and to be the sheriff of Caddo Parish. So he's well qualified, he's well versed, and I think that he's shown throughout this this process to be a professional and someone that we all can be proud of, black, white, Democrat, or Republican, and he's carried his himself in a professional manner. And I do believe that had the tides had been different, or the outcome had been different, that Chief Whitehorn would have honored the process, the legal and recognized process that we have in place for recounting elections. And we would have been working to move forward and transition in the new administration.
Now, is this considered a blue county or is it a red county?
So Caddo Parish is a blue parish. Shreveport, the city of Shreveport, is the parish seat, and it's the largest population center. So the city of Shreveport, by far and large, is a blue city, and therefore causes the parish to be a blue parish.
So, what are black folks there saying? First of all, in Caddo Parish, have you ever had a black sheriff before?
So, no. To answer your question, no. So not only is he the most uniquely qualified in all of the United States because of his experience, but in the 185-year history of the parish, he is the first African American, but even beyond in Orleans Parish, and as I think about it, has a black sheriff. But even beyond being African American, I mean, he's just simply the most qualified person in all of the race, and he was in a runoff with a person who was probably one of the least qualified. And so it's so oxymoronical, if you would, the fact that the contrast between the experience and the acumen and the temperament but between the candidates. Nothing against Mr. Nicholson. He was a former Shreveport City Councilman who decided just last year not to seek re-election, citing the fact that he wanted to be able to spend more time with his family, which is very admirable. But then I think he was the fifth or sixth choice of the current sheriff who, when he decided not to run, I think Mr. Nicholson was the fifth or sixth choice of people on the list of people that he chose to seek the seat and support. And so it says a lot, in itself, just the circumstances surrounding the candidacy. People feel that their voices have been discounted. They're frustrated. They feel that their votes are being disenfranchised, and people, quite frankly, are pissed off and are organizing. There are talks about pursuing legal avenues to at least filed some kind of petition to say, hey, that we do not agree what has taken place. The people had ample of time to participate in the election via the general election as well as the runoff. The people spoke. There was a recount. There was some irregularities, and those things need to be addressed in a separate manner with the registered voters office, the clerk of court. Those kinds of things need to be addressed, but they should be separated from this election. We feel, those of us who advocated for Sheriff Whitehorn's candidacy from inception, feel that the results of the election should stand, and we are not in agreement. Or do we concur with the judge's ruling on today?
Obviously, that was his ruling today. So are black folks there geared up to turn out in mass numbers? We've been talking about the low turnout numbers there in Louisiana across the board. Do you think that this is going to get black folks fired up and say, okay, y'all want to play that game? We're going to show you that we're going to make sure he win by a huge margin, not just one vote.
So I am encouraged because people are paying attention in the barbershop talk, the brothers, just hanging out in the hood. People are aware. I do think that the Whitehorn campaign would be remiss if they didn't reach out to bring people, those of us who may have been on the fringes of the campaign and not fully engaged and involved, but certainly have the level of influence and the experience working in elections and campaigns. I just think that all hands need to be on deck, irrespective of personality conflicts where we have maybe landed in previous elections in terms of sides that we were on. But I think it's time for us to coalesce around the candidate and the candidacy to galvanize the people. We have the people that know how to do it, and I think it would be incumbent upon Sheriff-elect Whitehorn to utilize his leadership skills and to corral and pull everybody together so that we can move forward and win by a landslide in March.
Well, I tell you, we would love for him to come on the show. We reached out several different times. We're unable to get him on. So whatever assistance that we can do, just let us know. And I certainly hope, again, black folks down there turn out in big numbers to make sure that he gets elected.
Yeah, and you know what? I know the Divine Nine, we're pissed off. And you know what happens when the Divine Nine gets pissed off? I would tell you that turnout across the board has been dismal, right? Black, white, Democrat, Republican. But we can ill afford for 75 to 85% of us to sit out elections and then expect the kind of positive change and results that we long for. I mean, we've got to get people engaged. They've got to get organized. And again, this is the time for leadership, irrespective of personality conflicts, likes and dislikes. I mean, we've got to grow up, mature. Let's roll up our sleeves, allow people to do what they do and respect people, for what they do. Let's pull together and let's win this race for Sheriff-elect Whitehorn.
All right, then. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again, and again, happy Founders Day to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha. Somebody had to do it. I ain't mad at y'all.
Of course. And again, everybody couldn't get in.
Yeah, everybody couldn't get in, but just be looking out for Day 5.
All right, then. Well, we'll tell y'all on y'all little cute day. Just do me a favor. Just don't drop the canes.
We don't drop canes. Well, if my wife was not listening, I would say what we drop, and it's not canes.
Don't let me pull a video out of some dropping canes. All right. I appreciate it, Derek. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I got some video. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Henry Whitehorn released this statement. Of course, I'm disappointed about the court's decision to overturn the will of the people of Caddo Parish. I was always taught that the person with the most votes wins, even if that's by 1,000 votes or by 1 vote. I was also taught that when we go to school and get an education, gain experience in our chosen field, and become qualified in what we do, we will have the best opportunity to be successful. But it seems as though the rules of the game are different depending on who the players are. I won the sheriff's race not once but twice. My opponent conveniently chose to question the integrity of the elections only after he lost, not once but twice. In elections, you should not be given a redo simply because you are unhappy with the results. The significance of a single vote cannot be underestimated. Overturning an election because the winner won by 1 vote is essentially saying every vote matters except if the win is by 1. Despite this decision, I still believe in the Constitution, democracy, the rule of law, and the notion that every vote does matter. I am pursuing an appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, and if necessary, to the Louisiana Supreme Court. But if we are unsuccessful at getting a reversal of the district court's decision and forced to have a special election, my faith in God and my belief in the great people of Caddo Parish assures me that for a 3rd time, I will win the sheriff's race. Well, damn. Brother got to win 3 times, Niambi. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. These kinds of things are unfortunately going to happen more and more. I think this whole kind of atmosphere of election integrity and all of these kinds of suspicions that we build around our elections are going to start happening more and more at the local level, not just national. I don't think we should be surprised, especially when the margin of victory is so small. I mean, this happens a lot in local elections where very few people show up, as your previous guest highlighted. So this is going to be, I think, a reminder, because this is not going to be the last time we see something like this, that when we show up, we have to show up definitively. And 1 vote isn't going to cut it. But I do think when we're talking about some of the issues that were happening here, some of the issues that were cited, this is about the Secretary of State and how voters are certified, etc. That's not up to individual voters to figure out whether they should vote or not. Moreover, I'm sure, I don't know exactly, but where people vote early and other things, these could have been real mistakes. And those voters now have their votes totally cast out, and there is no way to remedy that. So I think there are lots of things that need to happen here so that it just doesn't happen in Caddo Parish again, but in other places where, unfortunately, this kind of national morass that we have created around election integrity is going to start being a clarion call in places around the country.
You know what, Nicole? I'm always telling people why we got to maximize our vote. There's a good reason.
It absolutely is a good reason. Local elections, like Niambi said, can be incredibly close. And frankly, people are at risk of voting in them when you have tough on crime prosecutors and others using election integrity units to target marginalized voters, most of whom, let's face it, can be Black and at risk, many of whom may have criminal records or justice impacted. Those are all sorts of reasons why marginalized voters can be at risk of these election integrity units. And literally, democracy is at stake. And this is going to be an incredibly important issue throughout the next year during the 2024 election cycle. So we have to be ready for this. I know a lot of civil rights attorneys and voting rights attorneys are ready to defend voters who might be at risk of these election integrity units. And these elections are just too important to let them go and not to be ready to defend democracy.
Don?
This is amazing. This brother he comports himself very well. His statement is excellent. But at the same time, what you got is a pipsqueak white boy who couldn't stand to lose. And as the brother said, he's won twice already. So now this is his third bite at the apple. What we know is, as my fellow panelists have said, is that this isn't going to be the first nor the last time we see this kind of thing go on. And indeed, because of the racism that's implicit in the so-called voter integrity focus. In other words, we say voter integrity when we talk about wanting to get people to the polls, but the other side says voter integrity when they want to keep people away from the polls. And there's so many ways that they try to keep people away from the polls. And so we can't play. As the brother said, the Capra brother said, got to get people out. And one of the challenges that he raised that I think is so important, he talked about get people out despite personality differences. We got to get over ourselves. It doesn't matter. It's like these young'uns who say they can't vote, they don't like Biden. He ain't coming to your house. You don't have to like it. And, and similarly, in terms of us working together, I may not like you, but we got to turn out the vote. We got to walk together side by side and do some door knocking, et cetera. We cannot survive as a people if we cannot get along as a people.
All right, folks. Time for us to go to break. Before we do, be sure to get your hair ready for the holidays. Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com is an amazing organic line. All right, first of all, guys, you need to kill that music. You got the wrong music here. So we're going to do this here. We're going to go to the break. We're going to come back, and we're going to read this right, and then we're going to go back to break. So I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Folks, get your hair ready for the holidays. Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com is an amazing organic line for curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. First of all, look at the video and you be the judge. Folks, line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat to try it, they don't believe it's their hair. You can buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use the code ROLAND, that's right, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, you can also remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. That's right. Seasoned Saints also loving the product. It's all at curlprep.com. Again, use the code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. It's a great stocking stuffer. You won't believe it's your hair. Again, curlprep.com.
Hi, I'm Dee Barnes, and next on The Frequency, have you ever heard of Pinkster? If not, you aren't alone. It's an African-American holiday that predates Juneteenth by 100 years. This week, we're talking with my special guest, the founder and CEO of Trans Art and Cultural Services, Greer Smith, to talk about Pinkster and why it's so important.
Those exhibitions really got the most play because we don't know about this. Other people have been telling our stories for so long. When we have the opportunity to find people that tell our stories, it's an easy sell.
A fascinating conversation about Black culture on The Frequency with me, Dee Barnes, right here on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Maria
Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Nikita Davis has been missing from her Milwaukee home since November 9th. The 17-year-old is 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 140 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Nikita Davis should call the Milwaukee Police Department at 414-933-4444, 414-933-4444. Folks, and again, we purposely do this. One of the reasons why we launched this show, to create this particular segment, because it was important to put a focus on black teens and adults who often go missing, who get ignored by social media. So please be sure to share the information with all of your folks on the social media. House Republicans are blurring the faces of those who breached the Capitol on January 6th before releasing more security footage to protect them from retaliation. Yeah, I said that right. Speaker Mike Johnson literally said blurring the faces is to prevent retaliation against those who stormed the Capitol. Ain't they breaking the law?
To draw their own conclusions. They should not be dictated by some narrative and accept that as fact. So they can review the tapes themselves. We're going through a methodical process of releasing them as quickly as we can. As you know, we have to blur some of the faces of persons who participated in the events of that day, because we don't want them to be retaliated against and to be charged by the DOJ and to have other concerns and problems. So that's a slow process to get it done. We're working steadily on it. We've hired additional personnel to do that, and all of those tapes ultimately at the end will be out so everybody can see them and draw their own conclusion. Let me go.
Last month, the House Administration Oversight Subcommittee put security footage from January 6th online, which is available to the public. The committee initially planned to release security footage clips that media outlets requested, but with the change of speaker from Kevin McCarthy to Johnson, the House Administration Committees proactively reviewed all footage, posting as much online as possible. Nicole, what the hell here? We're gonna blur the photos of the folks who broke the damn law storming the Capitol, because we don't want the Department of Justice going after lawbreakers. Boy, that little law and order party, the hell happened to them?
Hypocrites. I mean, they're just, plain and simple, hypocritical. And it's just amazing when they want to protect people that they feel close to, that they feel a connection to. They'll pull all the stops. They'll make the system work for them. That's the way the status quo works. It's just an example of how unfair the system is, because we all know that if those were Black Lives Matter protesters, speaking to the earlier segment, that there's no way that a Republican House would go to these extent to protect the defendants who stormed the Capitol.
Julianne?
I fully agree with my colleague here. This is ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous, and it really does speak to the avoidance of consequences that these Republicans have put out there for these clear insurrectionists who basically stormed the Capitol, beat people, did all kinds of things. And, the only way we can find out who they are is to use, the kind of use their likenesses to go after them. And it's not just the Department of Justice. But does Mike Johnson work for the United States government? Is he a congressperson, or is he just some little whatever? Well, who basically doesn't care. It's clear that he cares about justice. They're starting impeachment inquiry on Biden. So it's clear that they care about justice in some instances, but clearly not in others. All those people who stormed that Capitol broke the law, and blurring their faces allows them to avoid the consequences.
Niambi?
Absolutely. I don't know that I've ever heard a speaker say that, let me try to actively impede a Department of Justice investigation by blurring the faces of people who did something that was illegal. I mean, we all saw it. I don't know and I don't understand how these people think that what happened on January 6th furthers their cause. And further, this whole notion that we can't show their faces to avoid penalties and avoid punishment when we've seen what happened on that day. I mean, this is one of the most wide-ranging investigations we've seen. I mean, over 100 people were charged with violent acts on that day. I mean, these very same people were trying to hunt down some members of the very body that Mike Johnson is supposed to represent as a speaker. And yet he is saying that, you know, he essentially doesn't trust his own government, even the American people, because we have to remember that a lot of people were identified through tips from other citizens. So this is all, I think, just unreal in some respects. I mean, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen the other behavior of this group pretending that it's still a political party at this point. But this kind of shilling for actions and activities that are actually illegal and in violation of our country's norms seems, I mean, a bit extreme even by Republican standards.
You're absolutely right. Well, guess what, y'all? Donald Trump targeting black folks again. During a campaign rally in Philadelphia, he told his supporters to guard the vote, specifically in Democrat, predominantly black cities. Listen.
Evidence we have and everybody knows it, and they know it. You know, the one thing they don't want to talk about is the election. They don't want to, because they're guilty as hell. They cheated like hell. They know it, and you'll never find out all the ways. But we don't need all the ways because, you know, it was, I think, 22,000 votes separated it, and we have millions and millions of votes. It's a very sad thing. So the most important part of what's coming up is to guard the vote. And you should go into Detroit, and you should go into Philadelphia, and you should go into some of these places, Atlanta, and you should go into some of these places, and we got to watch those votes when they come in, when they're being, you know, shoved around in wheelbarrows and dumped on the floor, and everyone's saying, what's going on? We're like a third world nation, and we can't let it happen.
Well, there he goes, targeting black people again, Niambi.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's saying the quiet part out loud. And when you name check a city like Philadelphia that is half black, what you're doing, I mean, is really what he's doing now is reminiscent of what happened some years ago when I was still living in Philadelphia. It's my favorite city. But they had posted these billboards in predominantly black and Latino neighborhoods threatening people that if they showed up to the polls and they voted illegally, that it was a felony and they could go to prison. Of course, to have this cooling effect, as Dr. Malveaux pointed out earlier. And what he's doing is essentially deputizing the very same types of people who showed up on January 6th to show up in cities like Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, in York, and in the outer suburbs of these places and terrorize black people, to stare them down, to ask people about what they're doing here. I mean, and we've seen shades of this in other parts around the country. So it does not surprise me that he's singling out not just black cities, majority black cities, but places that he's lost, places where he's still smarting over the fact that people saw through his mess. And one thing I will say about Philadelphians, they don't take kindly to threats. So whoever is feeling froggy after listening to Donald Trump is wise to be careful when moving through the city of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and other places, thinking they are going to threaten black Pennsylvanians. And I think that's going to be something, though, that we have to watch out for. The kind of violence we saw on January 6th could very well happen again in all places around the country, and not just in presidential election years. I mean, even in local and state elections. So this kind of rhetoric is dangerous. We've seen what it can do. And we've seen how destructive it is.
I keep telling black people that they were targeting us on January 6th. They were mad. And you're seeing the exact same thing play out again right here, Nicole.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, next year is going to be an incredibly important year. So we all must get people to register to vote, and we all must be ready to protect the vote. And if Trump gets reelected, I don't even want to imagine what could happen to this country. But at the very least, democracy is at stake. So we have to be ready, and we have to watch what he says and be incredibly vigilant. in protecting democracy, protecting our communities because of all of what's happening right now.
Julian?
You know, I really want to know what he means when he says guard the vote. And I hope that we're all very vigilant. I mean, if he intends for these hoodlums to storm polling places, then we need to make sure that the police, and all the police are not on our side, you know, he has a following there, that the police are prepared to protect our voting places. I'm not sure what he has in mind, but I know that when he drops seeds with these deranged people that follow him, they could come up with anything. So I'm very apprehensive about these words and about how they may play out. I'm also really apprehensive about those folks who will be scared. In I think it was 2012. Yes, it was 2012. They closed certain polling places. In Greensboro, North Carolina, I was there then as president of Bennett College. And one of the things that happened is they changed the number of absentee dates. They cut it back in half. And then they put it out there that if you had any warrants and you came to vote, you would be arrested. So, you know, folks have warrants. I mean, it could be a traffic ticket. So I know at least 6 people who chose not to vote because they said they had warrants. And so those kind of tricks we can expect to take place. And we, you know, Barbara Arnwine and her team, Transformative Justice Coalition and others, I hope they're ready. They've got to be ready. We've got to have people literally at every polling place to make sure that there is no intimidation.
Absolutely. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. Marketplace. Y'all know how we do. Some of y'all need to have your black card in review status. What else? A new game that breaks that thing down. We'll discuss next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, have you ever had $1 million idea and wondered how to bring it to life? Well, it's all about turning problems into opportunities. On our next Get Wealthy, you'll learn of a woman who identified the overload bag syndrome, and now she's taking that money to the bank through global sales in major department stores.
And I was just struggling with 2 or 3 bags on the train. And I looked around on the train and I said, you know what? There are a lot of women that are carrying two or 3 bags.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Grow your business or career with Grow with Google's wide range of online courses, digital training, and tools. Gain in-demand job skills with flexible online training programs designed to put you on the fast track to jobs in high-growth fields. No experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace. Complete the online certificate program on your own terms. Stand out to employers, get on a path to in-demand jobs, and connect with top employers who are currently hiring. Take one professional career certificate program or all 6. Earn a Google Career Certificate to prepare for a job in a high-growth field like data analytics, project management, UX design, cybersecurity, and more. All professional career certificate programs must be completed by December 31st, 2024. Scan the QR code to complete the application. There are 1,000 scholarships available. Grow with Google and J. Hood and Associates. Be job ready and qualify for in-demand jobs.
Hi, I'm Jo Marie Payton, voice of Sugar Mama on Disney's Louder and Prouder Disney Plus, and I'm with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
All right, folks, we love a good card game. Now, you know, when we have our family get-togethers, we always try to have something interesting to do. Actually, I created one over the holidays. We were all sitting there, and I was like, yo, we're going to play Name That Tune. I just started going through music on my iPod, and my nieces and nephews, man, I was about to snatch black cards left and right. Well, this game here is called Trivia for Us. It's a mind game for the culture. It features originally sourced trivia questions about everything from pop culture to the arts to politics and current events. high school friends and self-described trivia enthusiasts, Deidre Bringus and Shakira Hodges. They created this. They join us right now. Glad to have y'all here. So what happened? When y'all two just sitting around, like hitting each other with questions and said, we can turn this into a game?
Well, similar to that. Deidre and I, like you said, are high school friends. We grew up together. We went to really great HBCUs in Virginia. So we just love to hang out. We're very focused on our education and learning. And we would go out and play trivia at like pub trivia. And we'd get into the space and we're getting all of the questions wrong, left and right. And it was just simply because the content was not diverse. It didn't reflect Black culture. And it most definitely didn't represent the hometown of Brooklyn, New York, and the melting pot that it is.
All right. And so how long did it take y'all to put all this together?
It took some time. So we started in 2019. From there, we started hosting events in bars and pubs, and we moved into, that was in 2019, then the pandemic happened. So with that, we really had to pivot our business, and we started going virtual. At first, just to boost the morale of the people that were following us, but we also had the opportunity to connect with a lot of corporations that were looking for ways to engage with their employees at home. So with that, we started doing those events for big clients like American Express, Google. So from there, we recognized that more people wanted to play along with us, but we couldn't be everywhere at the same time. So with that, we created our card game, the Trivia for Us card game, which I have right here for us, where you could play at home at your leisure. It has 100 cards, 5 different categories. We are so mindful about trivia being intimidating. So we actually created cards that are action cards that gets the whole family involved and everyone could play along.
All right. So since you said everybody can play along, let's go ahead. And so we got Julian, Nicole, and Niambi. Let me go ahead and do some snatching of Black cards right here. So let's pull them up. Let's see here. Let's see what I want to ask. I'm going to go to... They know in hell they're going to answer that. They ain't going to answer that. All right, I got one. Here we go. All right. So Niambi, Nicole, and Julian. Let me see how I'm going to do this here. If you got the answer first, if you got the answer, raise your hand. So put the 3 of them up. Put 3 of them up. Put us in the 4 box, me and them. All right. So, So Niambi, Nicole, and Julian. So here we go. In 2022, Candace Parker became the first woman to grace the cover of the NBA 2K video game, and she was representing what team?
How you rolling? You know I don't do sports, and I'm like,
damn. All right. Nicole, did you raise your hand?
I did. I don't do sports either, but I'm going to guess the Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks?
Girl, no, that's the NBA team. I said the WNBA team. It's the Chicago Sky.
WNBA team.
Oh, my God. Okay. Film and television. Let's see here. Okay, maybe y'all will guess this one. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air character Carlton Banks often breaks out dancing to the song It's Not Unusual by which artist?
Frank Sinatra. Is it Frank Sinatra?
What's the white British guy?
Multiple choice. Give them the multiple choice. Help them out.
No, hell no. I ain't giving multiple choice. No.
It's the not unusual guy.
First of all, Julian, she already out. She said Frank Sinatra. It ain't him.
No.
Niambi, you got half the name right, but come on.
His name is Tom, and I can't think of his last name.
Tom, white man who sounds Black.
He's British.
He got curly hair.
He used to date Mary Wilson.
Yeah, you know all that, but your ass can't.
It's been a long day.
Damn, it's Tom Jones.
Yes, I couldn't think of the last name.
Oh my God, we got a Diddy question. We throwing that one out. Okay, let's see here. Okay, hold up. That was me, film and television. All right, so y'all, they got film and television is one category. They got Black history, trivia for math, music. Then they got Blitz. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask a Black history question. That's too easy. I don't know. These HBCU Negroes might know this one. That might be too easy. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. Okay, which university was the first HBCU? Matter of fact, I ain't gonna give you the multiple choice. Okay, see, y'all. Sorry, Deidre, Shakira, the rest of these people, they need the multiple choice. These three don't need it. Which university was the first HBCU to be established in 1837?
Cheney.
All right, it's Cheney. All right. Niambe, she up. Okay, I ain't gonna give you a full point for the Tom Jones. I'm only gonna give you a half a point. So right now it's Niambe 1.5. It's Nicole 0, Julian 0. Okay, here we go. Born Daniel Day, this designer is known for taking Gucci. Remember, you got to raise your hand. It's known for taking Gucci and Fendi materials to recreate into jackets. Well, Niambe already got her hand up. I ain't even finished the thing. Go ahead.
Dapper Dan.
Okay, she 2.5 points up on you. Okay, I'm gonna ask 3 more questions. So y'all got, okay, so I'm gonna get out of Black history. I may come back to that because some of y'all gonna need some help. Okay, well, damn, Julianne, she don't know sports, so she out of that question. Damn. Okay, here we go. All right, let me see how Black y'all really are. Add the amendment that abolished slavery minus the number of stripes on the Pan-African flag.
That would be 10.
Oh, look who woke up. Julianne got a point. Okay, Julianne got a point. So it's 2.5, 1. Nicole, she's stuck on 0. Okay, okay, let me go to music. Okay. Ooh, No, they gonna guess. That's too easy. That's too easy. That's too easy. Okay, let's see here. Nope, they can't do that one. Got it. Name 3 Black music groups with 3-lettered names. Letter and number combinations are acceptable. And it says, refer to instruction 9 for rules about questions with multiple answers. Where the damn answers at? Okay.
It's me.
I got it, Tia.
What?
I got it.
Who's?
I'm gonna say TLC. Huh? We ready?
The Shakira, does that count?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Answer.
You said TLC. You got 2 more. What you got?
BBD, Bell Biv DeVoe.
All right. That's 2.
Right. ABC, Another Bad Creation.
That's
Shakira Deidre, that wasn't a part of y'all little group, huh? Y'all collection?
No, that worked.
Wait a minute, hold up. Y'all didn't see that? No, cut to Shakira and Deidre. She thought ABC, they were like, oh, damn, we ain't think of that one.
Oh, we did not. That's a throwback.
Okay, all right. See, y'all didn't do the full research. Okay, all right, so Niambe 2.5, Nicole at 1, Julian at 1. So I'm about to now ask, a 2-point bonus question. So whoever wins, so if Niambe wins this one, she obviously wins. So I'm giving Julian and Nicole a shot to overtake Niambe. Let me see here. I'm gonna get out of music.
See who's gonna take it.
Let me go to Blitz. Let me see here. They can't answer no damn sports questions. We already saw the WNBA question. Oh, hell, this is Black as hell right here. Oh, this is a Black as hell question right here. Matter of fact, y'all, this game is called Trivia for Us. It should be called Black as Hell. Okay, here we go. No, I need you to show the other 3. Julian, there we go. No, there we go. Here we go. Tray, bone, and spinner are all terms associated with what game?
The Crips?
I know her. I said game, not gang. Game. Game. Game.
It's dominoes. It's dominoes.
All right, I guess I give it to Niambe. She won. It's dominoes. So
gang. I didn't get gang.
Niambe absolutely retains her black card. Nicole, we gon'. Nicole, you got one, right? You and Julian, y'all gonna be in review status.
You gonna have to fight me for my black card. That black
Y'all gonna be in review status. Okay, so all right, so Deidre and Shakira, so what happens when the black person answers the fewest questions? Like what part of y'all game? What you do?
Listen, everyone can create their own rules, but with us, nobody's black card gets revoked. Okay?
Damn that.
Little something new. That's all.
No, I snatch cards. I snatch cards. If you lose the black card game, you don't get to take no dessert home. You can't pack nothing. You can't. Right. There has to be a penalty. There has to be a penalty for you folk not being up on your blackness.
It would not be
that's a great point, though. That's exactly why we created the game.
Hold on one second. Go ahead.
No, I said that's a great point. That's exactly why we created the game, so that we're able to preserve our history, our culture in a gamified and fun environment. So nobody's blackness gets erased. You start the game black, you're going to end the game black.
Ah, damn that. I'm snatching. Okay, y'all trying to be all 2023 nice and all that. Hell no, I'm snatching. I'm making Negroes pay up. That's right. If you lose, you got to put a 20 down or something. So all y'all at home, y'all get this card game. Trivia for us. Y'all have the right to create your own penalties for those who are massive failures at learning any of the questions. And Julian, you need to bone up on sports, because if they hit with a sports category, you going down in flames. All right.
Hey, live with that. I can live with it.
Deidre, Shakira, where do people get the game?
You can find us at w.com. Then also, we're on Instagram as well. Follow us, reach out if you want to do something as far as your corporation or private events. We host live and virtual experiences as well.
All right, folks, put it up again. We got a discount code as well for the Roland Martin Unfiltered viewers. Again, what y'all do is, so you shop RMU discount. Is that what it is?
The discount is Roland.
RMU, say it again.
It's go to our website, triviaforus.com, and you put in the promo code Roland TFU.
All right, so again, y'all go to the website, the promo code Roland TFU, ROLAND TFU. All right, we appreciate it. This is a great card game, and of course, there's always gonna be lots of fun doing this. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and also any black get-togethers, but there must be a penalty clause somewhere.
We'll take that into consideration. Thank you so much, though.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, folks. That is it for us. I appreciate Nicole, Niambe, and Julian being on today's show. I will be in L.A. tomorrow for the world premiere of The Color Purple. They'll be showing it at the Academy, the museum theater there. So I will be hanging out with Oprah, Taraji, and the whole crew, Fantasia, you name it, the world premiere tomorrow. So back in studio on Thursday, folks. Don't forget to support us in what we do. First of all, join our Bring the Funk fan club. You can see your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037, that's 0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And of course, you can be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. And be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available bookstores nationwide. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Holla! Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All the momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?